We have some pretty horrible economic news. United States layoffs are now surging to their highest point since the pandemic. More than 1 million layoffs have happened in 2025, and that number is only set to grow. These numbers could exceed what we saw during the Great Recession, exceed what we saw in 2020. I mean, just horrible economic numbers right now. So in November, there were about 71,000 layoffs in the United States of America. That's only the third time since the Great Recession, according to News Nation, that layoffs have topped 70,000 in the month of November. In total, more than 1.1 million jobs have been cut this year. And that number is set to grow because we still have several weeks left this year. What we're seeing right now as we head into the end of the year is an economy that really is in decline. Although the stock market is performing relatively well, everyday Americans aren't necessarily feeling it, as you have a very, very weak job market.
Baby, in 2025 alone, we've lost 1.1 million jobs. 1.1 million people have been laid off since January of 2025, and it's not stopping. Big corporations plan on firing people during Christmas season. About 30% of them are going to be doing more layoffs. And we can thank AI for this problem. You know, that big, beautiful bill put AI as a front runner to take a lot of entry-level jobs, to the point where a college degree and a high schooler can now apply for the same job, and the high schooler may get it over the college degree. And Wigs R Us does not want states to regulate AI in their fucking state so AI doesn't take over everything. He's gonna sign an executive order so he will be the only person controlling these AI data farms that are taking these big corporations and making them bigger while firing all their employees. But that's not even the fucking sad part. There's about 650,000 80 and up year old people still working in America. Now, if we keep losing jobs, how the fuck are they going to support each other? Minimum wage has not gone up from $7.90-something. The average cost of living in order to be considered poor in America is little under $140,000. Yes, you heard me. Under $140,000 is considered under the fucking poverty line. Now, the government is still saying a $32,000 is under the poverty line. But baby, that shit is going to change soon. Some commentators like Michael W. Green says y'all not adding anything in, like modern housing costs, healthcare, childcare, etc. A family of 4 actually needs between 130 to 150K in order to survive. I'm just saying, prepare for 2026 to be hell on wheels. And if you got a job you hate, try to stick with that hoe for as long as you can.
At this point, if you do have a job and you live in the United States of America, I think you should go on your knees and thank God, because it seems to be like a miracle. Because right now, when we look at these videos, the updated news, over 1.2 million people have literally lost their jobs. So if you do have your job right now, don't think because for you, you're better than anybody else. I think it's just like a miracle, and you should honestly kneel down and thank God. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sumi. Just in case you see me for the very first time, I hope you do consider subscribing on the channel. In today's episode, I've come across these videos from different American creators talking about the economy of the United States, on how very many people, over 1.2 million people, have literally lost their jobs. And right now, when you look at the economy of the United States under Trump, it is worrying. Now, I'm not going to talk too much like as if I know better. Allow me to play for you these videos. Let us watch them together, and I'm going to come back at the end of watching the clips and give my own opinion at the end of the video.
Since the job reports come out and they said that we've lost 1.1 million jobs, most of the layoffs this year, I want to remind people that this would be impossible in any other developed country. They just make it illegal. You can't do layoffs while being profitable. You have to have just cause for letting people off, and you can't just do it to bump your numbers. America is the only country we have such weak worker protections that you can just fire people by the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands for no reason other than to drive the profit margin up. It's insane, and we need new regulations.
U.S. layoffs are currently on track to exceed the Great Depression. The numbers have already exceeded the Great Recession. And what that tells me is that something in this economy is probably about to collapse. Because why are that many people being laid off to the point where it's resembling numbers from almost the Great Depression, already past the Great Recession? Something clearly is happening, and I don't know if it's the AI bubble, but that's most likely what it is, in my opinion. And I think all of these job listings aren't even real at this point. It's like they're just having these job listings up to see how engaged people are with wanting to work and wanting to contribute to this capitalistic system. But like, most of these jobs are probably being taken over by AI, and that's how these companies are laying off so many workers. And because I don't necessarily think it's a money thing, I think they're laying off workers so that they can actually just get more money. They can have record-breaking profits every year because they don't really have employees, and then they have AI do all of these other jobs that employees were once doing. You know what I mean? That's what I actually think it is. But either way, it is kind of insane that this is currently what's happening, and the numbers of the U.S. layoffs right now are almost about to exceed the numbers that were happening during the Great Depression, and they've already exceeded the numbers from the Great Recession. That is like a clear, obvious sign that there is about to be a collapse, in my opinion. Now, I don't know for sure, but just from hearing that, it looks like something is about to collapse, something is about to be not operating in the same way it was before. And hopefully it's just the entire system of America, because honestly, this is not working at all. But something is about to happen because of that. Like, there's no way that the U.S. layoffs numbers are about to exceed the Great Depression numbers. Yeah, something's going on. And I feel like a collapse is on its way. I really do.
Layoffs top 1.1 million in 2025, which is the most since 2020. What's even more interesting is the article states reasons that employers have given for why they are doing so many layoffs. And the three being artificial intelligence, tariffs, and corporate restructuring. It even goes a little further into the details, except it only lists the numbers for two of the categories. The first one being AI, which, according to employers, has claimed roughly 54,000 layoffs, and the second one being tariffs, which 2,000 cuts occurred in November and 8,000 year to date. So both those numbers are fairly irrelevant when you consider that 1.1 million have been laid off. So it kind of sounds like basically 1 million layoffs are from corporate restructuring. Now, what exactly does that mean? I'm not entirely sure. But when a company is listed on the stock market, all they care about is their share price, and those are boosted by profits and growing revenues. And one of the main ways a company, specifically a tech company, can boost profit margin is by laying people off. We saw this with Meta when they were one of the first tech companies to do mass layoffs, and their share price went from like $90 a share to $600 a share. Now, whether or not AI and tariffs are having a larger impact than these employers are letting on, we probably will never know for sure, because it's likely just easier to say corporate restructuring than to blame any one particular thing. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think we're going to see even more layoffs in 2026, or is 1.1 million enough?
Question: is America the greatest country in the world? We have corporations making record-breaking profits, laying off workers during the worst time of the year, the worst time in the economy. Other countries actually protect their workers. They make sure they're paid fairly. Most countries get 4 weeks paid vacation every year and health insurance. Money needs to come out of politics. Do you agree?
You guys, this is really scary. U.S. layoffs right now are set to surpass the Great Recession and on track to be the worst since the Great Depression. And I'm telling you, they're doing everything in their power to cover up the real jobs numbers. So what's really going on? Are we already in a depression? And when I went and fact checked this, it says yes, layoffs have surpassed 1.1 million through November. So that's, we still have a month left to go. Let's see how many layoffs can we get before the end of the year. We haven't seen this level of job loss since the start of the pandemic, which was obviously a horrifying time for our country, the economy, the world. And this here is also putting a lot of the onus onto AI, that companies are attempting to adopt AI to replace human beings. And again, I'd like to ask those companies, who will buy your products? Between AI and Trump's policies and Trump's tariffs and inflation overall, we are not in a good spot, you guys.
So y'all understand that we nearly lost 1.2 million jobs as of October of 2025. Now, first of all, we have already entered depression. We've already entered the depression stage. This job loss level that has happened, we haven't seen it since COVID, okay? And we all know what happened with COVID. It feels like COVID happened yesterday, and that was what, 6-7 years ago? Am I forcing it? I don't know. But anyway, so the Great Recession levels are on track to be basically the worst since the Great Depression. And so right now we are beyond collapse. I need people to understand that. And everyone feels it. We all feel it. I don't care who you are, on what level, everybody feels it. There are 23 states right now that's already in a recession. But beyond that, there's something greater. I don't know if y'all have paid attention to how progressively quick AI has literally grown. It felt like in 1 month, it just was like, hey, AI, I'm here, taking over the world. That's literally what it feels like. So in order for AI to be able to be the forerunner, there has to be a restructuring of a lot of different companies, especially your major companies. Some of it is just restructuring by not having people, in those areas, and just restructuring what AI looks like for their company. But this is what blew me, to find out that they are considering AI as the person of the year for Time magazine. What do you mean? AI is not a person. Do y'all know how scary that is? I want people to really catch it. Do y'all know how scary that, okay, they said, so the forerunners was AI was the number one forerunner, and then they go on to say the CEO of NVIDIA, which, okay, we're back to technology again, and then Pope Leo and some other people. I'm so sorry. The AI thing got me. If people really understood the magnitude of all of the pieces of the puzzle with the end times and the restructure of the world and digital coin and how everything is moving digital and how crucial and how critical right now today is for our lives, for our souls. We're not just talking about our natural bodies. That's neither here nor there. We're talking about for our souls. If people really understood what AI is here for, you would be concerned just like me. Because my biggest question is, what do they think the real life humans who serve you, what do they think we're gonna do? If AI is getting ready to just be majority of taking I'm still on that. What are they planning on doing with us? That is what I'm concerned. What do they think they about to do with me? Another random thought. Y'all don't sit back and think how quickly this happened, how all of a sudden we looked up and tons of people was being laid off, and how quick it just moved in on us. And this, like, nobody thought about how quick AI just became super big and a super huge thing, and how it like crept in, but then it was like made a big nobody is thinking about how we even got here. Because I'm often thinking about, how did we get here? How did we get here? 2026, y'all. I need y'all to understand what 2026 is about to look like.
1.2 million jobs lost so far in 2025 alone. I'm going to tell you about the top 7 sectors that were hit. Tell me what surprises you, and what are your thoughts on cutting this many jobs in these sectors? Hi, my name is Christina. I have a master's degree in business. The economy is in big trouble. According to Moody's top economists, 23 states are currently in a recession. 11 states are teetering on a recession. Unemployment is 6% in California, 5.3% in many other states. The average is 4.5%. What is very troubling, though, is that 1 out of 4 people have been unemployed for 20 or more weeks. That's 25.7% long-term unemployment. Losing jobs is not normally a presidential job. It is normally the president's job to stimulate the economy with economic policies.
They don't want to say the quiet part out loud, but we are clearly in a recession as U.S. layoffs are on track to exceed 2008's great financial crisis, and the U.S. Labor Department announces it has canceled the October PPI inflation report. And if you remember in the past, they stopped reporting the job loss. They have stopped reporting everything because they know if they report it, everyone is going to say, hey, look, we are currently in a recession. Seeing America decline this fast, it's honestly baffling and shocking. I didn't think it would happen this soon. And then when you factor in our economy being tied to AI, and when that thing bursts, our whole economy is gonna burst. Like, it is just dangerous what America is doing right now. I'm honestly terrified and scared how much worse it's gonna get, because we all know it's going to get worse. That's the worst part about it. So if you have a job that's able to pay all your bills, be grateful, because there are so many people being laid off, or there's so many people that have jobs that don't pay enough. It is rough out here in America, and the fact that they aren't willing to report this, you know it's much worse than we actually think it is.
One of the many insidious things happening in the country right now is gambling. And it's not just some coincidence, let me explain. The 2025 layoff reports indicate that over 1 million people were laid off this year. 1 million people losing their jobs. Meanwhile, corporations are still seeing record profits. And with historic levels of layoffs and a job market that provides little to no upward mobility, people are clamoring for any sort of financial stability or a way to get ahead. And that's where gambling comes in. In 2025, an estimated 20 million people have some sort of gambling addiction. Over the last few years, we've seen the invasion of sports books into every single major sport and network. You have your FanDuels, DraftKings, Prize Picks, Caesar Sportsbooks, ESPN Bets, etc., etc. And now you can gamble on pretty much any aspect of life with companies like Kalshi and Polymarket. The CEOs of these companies talk about how they're trying to monetize every single aspect of life. And now CNN, one of the major news networks in the country, is partnering with Kalshi. And none of this is due to immigrants or trans people. It's because of the major corporations and the billionaires who run them that see record level profits, while simultaneously having layoff rates that are comparable to the Great Depression, and a government that fails to hold them accountable or regulate to any degree, because it's full of people that directly benefit.
So folks, we've seen horrible economic numbers from the United States this year. Since Donald Trump took office, folks, we've seen over 1 million Americans lose their jobs. 1 million. And no matter what he says, no matter what he promotes on Truth Social, America is losing, not winning.
And yes, as I said earlier, that if you're having a job right now, as we are entering this festival season and you still have your job and you are working, I think you should kneel down and thank God, because it sounds or it seems like a miracle to have a job in the United States right now. From the clips that we have just watched, very many creators complaining why many people are literally losing their jobs, yet we know America has everything. Why are very many people losing their jobs? Yet people are literally going in the festival season. How do these companies even expect people to survive without working? Because as you're being laid off, you still have to eat, you still have to pay rent, you still have to travel. That means even the savings you've been having, they are literally getting done. It is high time as Americans, you guys learn how to even economize, like you be economical. If you've been eating 3 meals, you need to start eating 1 meal. I'm not telling you guys what to do, but I'm just thinking, because me coming across these videos and it's over 1.2 million people in the United States don't have jobs right now. How are people going to survive? Right now, I do have a friend of mine who is in the United States, lost his job, and I speak right now, this person, they literally just called him and like, hey, we are actually laying you off. Out of the blue, this person didn't even do anything. You don't have to do anything wrong for these people to say like, we don't need you anymore. Apparently, it's because AI is taking over. So it doesn't even matter if you went to school and you have your degree in anything, as long as there is AI. They feel like they want to use AI than using people. This is crazy, guys. I don't know what you Americans are going to do right now. This is scary when it comes to the economy, and mind you, this is worldwide. I'm not going to say that where I'm at right now here in Uganda, our economy is better. One thing that I can actually say about here Africa or here Uganda, most people are actually self-employed. People are looking for very many ways of literally making money without expecting these companies, these organizations to give them money. People are literally looking for things they can do, and they are just keeping their degrees. For example, I myself, I went to school. I have a bachelor's degree in tourism, leisure and hospitality management. Right now, if you ask me, am I working for anybody? No, I'm actually self-employed. With the little that I get from here, from the people who keep on supporting me, and also I do have this Airbnb that is helping me, I would say that this is where the world is going. And sometimes you can even be having your degree, but when you go and get a job, the money they would give you, it is literally less money. They are working, they are overworking you like as if you were a slave, like as if you never went to school. A person with a degree would literally apply for the same job a high schooler can literally apply for, and you might find out that they would give a high schooler the job and they leave someone with a degree. And the reason is because they want to overwork these ones that are high scholars because they are ignorant and they want to get a job. If you say that I'm going to be self-employed, at the same time there are taxes, at the same time you have to pay for rent where you're sleeping, and all those bills tend to be, you feel like you're almost choked. They want to kill you. The bills just want to slaughter you and finish you. So I don't know what you guys think. I'm not going to give advice like as if I understand the economy of the United States better than you people who are living there. I'm assuming you guys know better. And I still say, if you still have your job and you're well paid in the United States, I think you should kneel down and thank God for that gift, for that miracle, literally. Otherwise, guys, allow me to end from here. I don't want to make this video very long because I don't want you to be bored because the video is long. Yes, just in case you've watched it up to this far, I'm thinking you have enjoyed it, or maybe I hope you do consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed. And to all my returning subscribers, you guys, I still appreciate you. Thank you so very much for the love and support. Allow me to stop from here. We shall meet again in the next clip that I'll be uploading. Bye bye.